Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the first game on the last round of Super Rugby before the playoffs. This one, the Fijian Drua taking on the Reds. It is taking place in Fiji. Whoever wins this game almost secures themselves a quarterfinal spot. If it is the Reds, they are safe. If it is the Fijian Drua, it is still a wait and see what happens in one of the other matches, which is the Chiefs taking on the Western Force. Unfortunately, it is absolutely bucketing down in Fiji for this contest, and we were talking about it yesterday on our last Super Rugby live stream. We said if it was raining, that heavily favours the Reds because the Fijian Drua, they love playing that attacking style where it's pretty much offload after offload, unpredictability in the back line with some silky handling, and with the wetness that may be a little bit more challenging to do. We have got Azra in the chat, has come on, and also the Drua's last game, do or die game, says a one piece there. Yeah, exactly right. If they win this game and then the Western Force lose to the Chiefs, they are through to the top eight. And it would actually be the Reds who miss out on that top eight spot, which is why they've gone with such a strong side here, the Reds. They could not afford to give away this game, even with it being in Fiji. Looking through at this Fijian Drua starting lineup here, Reti Hatit in the front row alongside Tavita Ikanaviri, I should say, sorry, and Masaki Dog. Then Nasila Sila at 4 with Rotui Solia moving into number 5. No Te Auahu Davita in the starting lineup for this week, or off the reserves bench for that matter. Joe Tamani at 6, Mera at 7, and then the captain, Meri Derialangi at number 8. Frank Lamani and Caleb Muntz will make up the 9-10 combo. Tite Teller moves to 12. Masi keeps his spot in the midfield, and he scored the most tries out of any Fijian Drua player throughout the season. Kalaviti Ravovo moves from 12 to 11. Roni Sau moves from 11 to 14. And Ravatamanda moves from 14 to 15. They've had to make quite a few changes because of Drua Sisi not being in the lineup for this game. We can see a few Queensland Red supporters in the crowd by the looks of it. Also, plenty of support for the Fijian Drua boys. Looking through at this Red side, there's going to be Ravai in the front row alongside Matt Faisler, and Zane Ungor does normally come off the bench. Blythe and Smith, the lock-in duo, Siruru, Fraser McWright, and Harry Wilson. A very strong loose boy trio where I think they will get quite a bit of go forward in this matchup. Just realised I'm kind of wearing the colour of the Reds a little bit. It's almost maroon on my shirt. Don't take it too seriously. Of course, it is just the way that it has ended up. Tate McDermott and James O'Connor as the 19 combo. Paisami and Fluke in the midfield. Dalgunu, Suliasi Vunivalu, I should say, out on the right wing, and Jock Campbell at 15. I'm quite nervous for this game because someone, unfortunately, is going to lose their Super Rugby season right now. After this game is finished, someone will not have any more games. It's just that question, will it be this Fijian Drua outfit, or will it be instead the Reds? Now, I should mention, if the Fijian Drua win this game, they will have the Chiefs in their quarterfinal. Not an easy contest, and that game would be taking place at FMG Stadium. Now, if the Reds win, they will move, or they'll keep their spot, and more than likely, they will be going head-to-head with the Crusaders, the overall game. But you can see the Fijian Drua now running out onto the field. The crowd at ANZ Stadium certainly loud for this one. They know they need to get behind their side if they want a chance of going through. I've also got the AB's under-20 versus Junior Wallabies. There's Novmum. Yeah, I was a little bit confused because I was on Sky Sport 1 waiting for the build-up of this game, and then all of a sudden it said, hey, we're ready to go at Sky Stadium. And I was like, wait, what? But then I realised, yeah, a little bit muddled for that one. But I should mention that straight after that game, it's going to be Hurricanes Crusaders from Sky Stadium. So they've certainly got a couple of big matches taking place there. Drua will win their first time in the quarters, says One Piece Community. And the thing is, the Fijian Drua have already made a huge improvement from last year. Like the fact that they're even in finals contention at the moment, I feel like they should be hugely proud of what they've been able to do in just one season. If you compare them to Moana Pacifica, who are in a very similar boat to them last year, you can see that leaps and bounds this side has bonded. They have grown as a side, and they are just about ready to go for what could be their last match. But one thing's for sure, even if it's their last match, they're going to go out on a high, and they're going to put everything into this fixture. Toso Drua Toso says DK in there as well. Should mention there are 4 games taking place today for Super Rugby, including another one, which is just around the corner, Crusaders versus Hurricanes, taking place at Sky Stadium, 7:05. Then Waratahs play Moana Pacifica. At the moment, the way that it sits, the Waratahs, they can't actually go down and they can't go up. So currently, they're looking like they're going to be facing the Blues. In fact, that's almost guaranteed. I don't think anything else can change there. So, yeah, the Blues will be taking on the Waratahs in the quarterfinals. That is one confirmed. This game will secure a little bit more information. The Drua have the potential of moving up into 7th place. If they beat the Reds, that would mean that they finish higher than the Highlanders. So if all the Fijians community in Fiji come on the Drua, says DK, but the boys are all fired up in the pouring rain. ANZ Stadium, like I mentioned, this wetness, I believe, does favour the Reds. As sad as it is to say. And 1 to 6 is locked in. Says Novmum, it is. It's just more of that question of, actually, no. Hurricanes can't move, can they? The Brumbies, it's kind of a shame in a way. All of the chances of things moving around have now been taken away because everyone's kind of already picked where they are. So no matter what the Hurricanes, they will be facing the Brumbies. No matter what the Blues are facing the Waratahs. Those are the two that are confirmed. Sounds like a couple of decent matchups. Brumbies Hurricanes is going to be a tough one for the Canes, I would say. Definitely taking place at GIO Stadium. Good afternoon, Hamish. Good luck to Drua. Top 8, fingers crossed. Says Nate. We're almost ready to go. I hope you are doing well, Nate. You've got an exciting day of watching rugby planned. We are doing 2 games today rather than the 4. That is due to packing and getting ready to go for our early morning trip tomorrow. We're not quite heading to Fiji. We're heading to Christchurch. But still going to be an exciting one. That's gone out on the full from the Reds off kickoff. Quite a mistake to be making early on from Jock Campbell, and exactly what the Drua wanted early. A little bit of a momentum swing in their favour for our Pacifica communities, especially Moana Pacifica. Came last in Super Rugby Pacific, says DK. And that's the thing, Moana Pacifica, even though they went through this whole season without a loss, without a win, you wouldn't have thought it the way that they play. If that makes sense. Like, even in some of their losses, they have been right in the hunt. They've got 4 bonus points for being within 7. But there's been so many games where they've just put on an incredible performance and then just missed out. Like the FIJIAN Drua game last week, 46 points to 47, the Drua won that game. You don't normally get 46 points and lose if you are a team in a game of rugby. That's a nice backline though, but Tite Teller knocks the ball on. It's a little bit too far out in front of him, and now we get to see the first scrum of the day, which I'm thinking will be a little bit of a mess because of how wet it is underfoot. All is good, Hamish, but cold at the moment. Cheers, Blues, Nate. Yeah, she's starting to get closer and closer to winter, isn't it? We had those nice couple of weeks, maybe about, I'd say, this week that's just been, and then also the week before, we had a couple nice warm nights, and now winter's kicking in. And also make sure you load up the cookie time in Christchurch. I think my dad would be disappointed if I don't, although he is also up in Christchurch with my mum on a separate trip. So who knows, if I get cookies and they get cookies, we will have way too many cookies. But if only one of us does, then they will be the popular person in the household, I would think, because they'll have all the bargaining power. Cookie time cookies, they're pretty much a currency, aren't they? No matter where you are. Now that's a big scrum from the FIJIAN Drua. And Paul Williams couldn't decide on that one. No one clearly going forward. FIJIAN Drua, they had a pretty good shove, though, on that one. Please, Jeffrey, our college also. Says Shahil in there. The USP students will be performing. And there was a close score, Drua and Moana. And best of luck to the Reds, says Red 1. And sure as boss, Winter coming and coming, Drua. Let's go. Get the W, get the bonus point, make the playoffs, says DK. I have to say, compared to yesterday, my reading has drastically improved. I was slurring words flat out, getting them wrong, making up words in my head while reading the chat today. It seems like it's working a lot better than mouth, that is. Should have that in my Tinder bio. Mouth working a lot better today. This is the first time the Drua and the Reds have ever played in Fiji. And both of them need to win the game to get the quarterfinal spot. Although I should mention there is still a chance, even if the FIJIAN Drua win this game. No, in fact, it would be the Highlanders who get dropped out. Okay, it's all shaping up now. Pretty much whoever wins this game is in the quarterfinals. And then the Western Force could possibly knock the Highlanders out. That's knocked back by Suliasi Vunivalu. Nicely taken by Jock Campbell now. Wrestle low. A good low tackle by Osefo Masi. Now McDermott crossed to Siru Uru. He had a big smile on his face in the pre-match. I think he's loving the fact that he gets to play in Fiji. The last time might have been that Pacific Nations Cup that did take place, I believe, last year between Australia A, Fiji, Tonga, and Samoa. Tosa Drua Tosa. Says TJ Maxx is going to be kicked in behind now. Celestino Ravatamunda does clean it up and gives it a massive boot downfield. If that curled towards the 22, which it is slowly almost making it a 50-22, but James O'Connor is back there to be able to clean it up. Morning, Amish. Says, Gareth, welcome in, mate. Very early morning. That's charged down by the Reds, by the Drua. El Ravatamunda scores the first try of the contest now for the Fijian Drua. 4 minutes in. The charge down, I don't even know what happened there. I thought it was safely going into touch, so I was like, I'll read the chat. But Ravatamunda has not just done a massive kick downfield, he has then chased that kick for about 70 meters. Who did he charge down? What happens here? I need to see a replay. Right. So he goes across, Filippo Dalgunu, all the time in the world, kicks it straight into Ravatamunda, and then it's charged down, try scored. Easy as you like. And Fiji Drua, my wife, buy Fiji Drua t-shirt because I know I just look at her phone behind her back. I think to my birthday, says Brandon. Tosa Drua Tosa, says TJ Maxx, and Battle of the Fijian Wingers, says DK. And who would the Highlanders play if they make the top 8? At this stage, the Highlanders, they are almost confirmed, but not quite, but they would be facing the Chiefs. So that will be a tough one. And at the moment, it seems like no matter what, if the Fijian Drua make their way through, they will have their quarterfinal match up against the Crusaders. That kick from Caleb Muntz didn't look like he struck it too well, but the kick has still gone over. 5 minutes through now. And the Fijian Drua sitting 7-0. It seems like the scoreboard. Oh, I was just about to say it's gone to sleep, but it's just woken up. James O'Connor knew he wasn't winning that foot race when Ravatamunda managed to charge that one down. But the commitment from him to not just kick it from inside of his 22, but then to be the one man who chased it the whole way. Also, Buller Brandon, Tucky the Grog, 7-0 says DK, and down what a try draw, says Nate. Well, they are just outside of their 22 now. Frank Lamani puts up the kick. Got some good distance on there. I think that's been taken back, though, unfortunately, for the Drua. So that will now be the Reds with the line out about 22 meters out from their own line. That will be a chance for the Reds, like they've said. We're going to go like this. We're going to go like that. There we go. Okay, no point hoping they make it really then, says Jason. Although they've still got a good chance because the good news is as long as the Chiefs beat the Force, they're fine. So if they don't make the top 8, it's because the Chiefs have bottled it. But then would the Chiefs prefer to play the Western Force than the Highlanders? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because we've seen the Chiefs line up and they've gone with quite a different side to what they normally would in terms of a couple changes in that backline out of rearranging. Raining in Suva, unfortunately, Hamish no TMO again due to limited facilities in Fiji, says DK. So hopefully that's not the determining factor in this contest, but that will be will now be a penalty to the Reds, 10 meters out from the Drua line. So Jock Campbell will be kicking this one for the touchline. Are you doing the Chiefs game? We are not. At that stage, I'll be sleeping because we've got a nice early morning wake-up time to then travel a few hours. So that is one game that I'll have to find out in the morning who ends up winning it. Hi, DK, says Brandon. Now the line out for the Reds. 5 meters out from the Drua line. Reds have the best line out in the competition, winning 89% of their own throw, is the stat that has just come up on screen. Going to be thrown in nicely. Now looking to get this rolling maul going here. Right, they are slowly cutting this one down, but Matt Fazer now goes through the side. I believe the Fijian Drua around the middle. Seru Iru, pick and go, not quite over the line. Over the line, I should say. Our big shot. Smith spins. Smith scores. And the Reds now back into the contest. I think we're going to have a seesaw like we had last week between the Drua and Moana Pacific. I think we're going to see about 10 tries here. Fire up the Drua, says Blues Nate, 40 Fijians in the Reds. Good battle, especially at the wing. It will be the Lord of the Wings, says DK. Speaking of Lord of the Wings, slightly different genre, or slightly different series, I guess you could say. But did everyone see that the Western Force have acquired Harry Potter from the Gallagher Premiership? There are going to be hundreds of jokes being made about that one. I know Reds are in 5-7, says DK. Yeah, they're waiting to see whether or not he can add some magical magical power to that backline of the Force. I've already made so many jokes about him in the Leicester Tigers, so I feel like I can't do the same for the Western Force. And also, and there says Cooks there. Now, James O'Connor, 61% accuracy for his goal kicking throughout the year. So, not the highest number he's ever had for a season. This one, oh, it's curling, but it has gone over. It's lucky that it was 22 meters out. You saw a little bit of nervous laughter from him after kicking that one. That now makes the score 7-all between these two sides now after only the 9 minutes. Looking at the odds, the Fijian Drua come in as slight underdogs for this contest. And I do wonder if Harry Potter's parents were Harry Potter's fans. I actually have already Googled this because we were learning about it, and he actually was born, I think it was either 4 months before or 4 months after the first Harry Potter book was written. It might even be 4 months before. So maybe J.K. Rowling was a fan of Harry Potter, saw the potential or something. And also, we have got there, Hamish, what's your view on John Afoa playing or not being able to play Super Rugby playoffs for the Satyrs, says DK. Is that confirmed that he's not allowed to play? He's only allowed to play up until. And that seems a bit rough, definitely if they've got injuries to deal with. Like, who else? I guess they can get academy players in, but I would have thought that if Afoa came on for a few games, he would have been eligible to play a little bit more, but it must be contract obligations or something like that. 10 minutes in, 7-0. It's my nickname to the Fijian Drua. And true, says Nate. Fijian Drua, I think, trying to get that penalty in the breakdown. They didn't end up with it in the end, actually a knock-on against them. A nickname, can I call you Brenda? Brandon, says Nate. And Vanaka Bro for the constructive commentary, bro, says, Taina, no worries at all. And we are going to be doing, if the Fijian Drua make their way through, we are covering their game next week. If they don't, it's going to be sad because I love watching them play. Although they would be up against the Crusaders next week, which is not exactly an easy task. Now, passing off to the short side. Big run forward here from Filippo Dalgunu. Wrestled down now. Back across McDermott. Or either Crusaders or Chiefs anyway, because there is still a chance the Western Force could actually go above the Drua if they were to win their next game. But then the Drua would still be in the top 8, and it would be the Highlanders who miss out. James O'Connor back in the pocket, almost charged down again from the Drua, I should say. Oh, Liasi Vunivalu does well not to take the man in the air. Now spinning around, Ravovo playing on the left wing side for this contest, even though a majority of the season he has played at number 12. Joe Tamani, 25 out from their own line. This kick from Lamani cannot go out on the full if he decides to go for it. In fact, now it can because it is going to be the penalty, but he takes the quick tap, keeping the momentum rolling. Big shot on in by McDermott, who was offside. So the penalty advantage now back in favour of the Drua again. Or Masi puts the kick in behind, trying to chase after this one. Covered well by James O'Connor. They'll go back for another penalty. What game to the Brumbies, Hamish? There's Brandon at the moment. The way that the quarterfinals are sitting, it will be Brumbies versus Hurricanes in their next matchup. McDermott. And also, I think Fraser McWright might have been called as offside here as well. They're showing Jock Campbell, so maybe most of the Reds were offside after that quick tap. But now Caleb Muntz will be kicking this one down towards the touchline. Sledgehammer versus Filippo Dalgunu. Yeah, pretty awesome matchup taking place there. And then on the other wing, you've got Ravovo versus Suliasi Vunivalu. What's your view on Fiji Drua's chances, bro? I mean, we've seen already when they play in Fiji, they just seem to go up to that next level. The Reds are quite a tough side to read, though, because they can sometimes come out and play an absolutely brilliant performance, and other times they just look a little bit below par. In this game so far, it looks like they are up for the task, but the Fijian Drua, the crowd behind them, I think they sneak a victory, even in wet conditions, which normally I would say favour the Reds. I think they've got a decent crack here. Definitely with Ravatamunda playing the way that he is. He's already shown willing to put the body on the line. Looks like there might be an injury here for him, though. No, he's back up to his feet. That's good news for the Munts. Goes across now. Look into the right-hand side. Ball slips through the hands of a Sefon Masi. He also slips trying to get back to it. That is due to those conditions, like I mentioned. 7-all come on the Drua, says DK. Tosso Drua Tosso, says Ledua there as well. Now, it's going to be the turnover. Ravai goes across, charge down again from the Drua, and the Reds with James O'Connor knocks it on in the process. Scrum feed now goes the way of the Drua. They are definitely applying the early pressure. And also, do you know most of your Fijian Drua fan like me, says Brandon? I know that the Fijian Drua have a very passionate fan base who will be behind their side, whether they're losing or winning games. It's always nice to see the Fijian Drua just play because you can tell how much it means to the players as well. Oh, yeah, Ikanaveri didn't even get a hand up to charge down that one. He just got hit in the chest with it. It's as if at this stage the Reds are aiming to hit the Fijian Drua players. So do you personally prefer the Super Rugby Pacific? The old version with the South African team, says Jason. I mean, to be honest, I only really got back into my rugby at about 2020, and that was actually during Super Rugby Aotearoa that I ended up watching again. So my memories of the South African teams is way back rather than more recent times. So I would say I'm very happy to see the Pacific Islands getting a chance. If there was a way that they could have added South Africa in alongside the Pacific Island sides, I think that would have been great as well. But yeah, I'm glad to see these Fijian Drua players and also Moana Pacifica players getting a side to play for. There's so many talented players out of the Pacific Islands, and most of them don't get the chance on the grand stage because they just didn't have a team or a competition to get their name out there. Looking at someone like a Vinaya Habosi, no one knew who that man was unless you were like a diehard Fijian Drua or Fijian fan. And then Vinaya Habosi, he came out, had a fantastic Super Rugby Pacific season in his debut season, and now he's playing in France. And he's a player who maybe wouldn't have had that opportunity had it not been for the Fijian Drua. So in those cases, I'm very happy to see these sides. And I know that the South Africans, by the sounds of it, some miss Super Rugby, but others say that they're happy to go to the URC because they can win more trophies overall. Like they've got the Champions Cup as well as another option, get 2 trophies in the cabinet rather than the 1 Challenge Cup as well. But yeah, I think they needed to do something for the Pacific Islands and Super Rugby anyway, I would say. Munst goes across now. The Titetela goes off the Ravatamunda, breaks 2 more tackles, finds his offload off to Tavira Ikanaveri, who has knocked the ball on though in the breakdown. Driven into touch, it will now be the scrum for the Reds. Avorovo last game for the Fijian Drua in Fiji. He's off to Bristol Bears next season matchup against Vunivalu today. And he's another player. Like he's been committed to the Fijian Drua for quite a wee while. Kalavidi Ravovo. Now getting the chance to go overseas, making some big money. That's the slight downfall for some of these Pacific Island teams is they are losing quite a few of their big name players each year. Same with Moana Pacifica. I mean, I'm happy for Levi Amua that he's going to the Crusaders, but I wish it wasn't the Crusaders who were getting him. I wish he either stuck with Moana Pacifica or he went overseas to try and get that bigger contract deal. I hope they're paying him well, the Crusaders anyway, with the amount of centers they already have. But yeah, like the good news is the Fijians, the Samoans, the Tongans, that's gone into Dutch. That's a massive scrum from the Fijian Drua. I don't think I've seen that in a very long time. That there was a scrum take place near the sideline and the ball actually pops out the back and goes into touch. Quite cool. Tossa Drua Tossa, let's make the Super Rugby Pacific playoffs, says DK. I saw the Kiwi Sport not getting subscribed, says Brandon. That's probably because we haven't uploaded on it for about 15 years. And I'm actually doing big build-up to the All Blacks game for the Rugby Championship, says Brandon. We probably will have some sort of build-up in there. I know that for one of the test matches, we've got an engagement party straight after. And then later on that night, we're going to be covering Argentina versus South Africa. So that will be interesting. Maybe as the medicine, apartheid came down. Says Taina now. Big rolling maul here for the Fijian Drua. Getting within 5 meters. So Frank Lamani trying to find that ball. He's slapping the head of Angus Blythe, trying to ask for the penalty, and they have now got the advantage. Going off to the left-hand side, rough pass, now out wide. It's going to be Ravovo. Kalavidi Ravovo scores the try for the Fijian Drua. They will take the lead back now as well. And rugby can contribute positively to all nations, regardless of the language, says Taina. You can see the celebration. Kalaviti Ravovo, his third of the season. Nice time to score it as well. Get that momentum back in the court of the home side. I'm guessing having Moana and Drua now. It's like when they had the Sunwolves and Higuares in. Little bit, but then also I think they're finding a lot more success already with the Fiji and Drua and Moana sides because like Pacific Island rugby, like people just love watching it. It's almost like a cheat code in a way. It's like the World 15 versus Barbarians game. As soon as you see a couple Fijians in that starting lineup, you're like, it's going to be a good game. And it just seems to be because of that natural flair, the running rugby style. Like they always say, back schoolboy rugby in Fiji is just pretty much don't get touched or don't get tackled. As soon as that ball goes to ground, you turn it over. So you got to keep those offloads going. And then a lot of that rugby does then transfer over to when they get older. And 12-7 for the draw, says DK. The Super Rugby final, guess whose birthday it is on the final, says Brandon. I think that the final's around the 26th of June or somewhere around there. That one from Munts, just hang away to the right-hand side. Score remains at 12 points to 7. Says Jason. I think he's been keen and hit the enter button early, so we'll get the rest of that very soon. The opportunities for Pacific Islanders from the islands to establish themselves as playing for Moana in the draw. Says Blues Nate, exactly right. Like some of these guys, like it was great seeing the Fijian Drua in the NRC. I feel like they were bringing eyes to that competition as well, but them now on a Super Rugby level, pretty much like the Super Rugby competition saying, you boys are good enough to be in this comp. And they are. At the end of the day, the draw, they've had 5 wins this year. They only had 1 last season. Moana Pacifica, they've been unlucky. They've been very close up against some of the top sides in the Super Rugby comp. Speaking of top sides, the Drua has beaten a few of them. They've beaten the Crusaders. They've beaten the Hurricanes. Like, they've had some good wins in there. 5. Nice pass on the outside to Hunter Paisami now for the Reds. Semi-final is June 16th to 17th. So 17th is my birthday, says Brandon. And also, how's the weather at home, says Taina. As well. Now back across to the right-hand side. James O'Connor. Oh, that's a drop ball in the breakdown, was it? No. Yes, it is. They have now called it. And go on, Drua, says Pads are blazing. Good, says Brandon. And go the Fijians. Yes, says the Reds. So currently with a 5-point lead after 20 minutes in this contest with Vovo. We missed next season off to the Bristol Bears. What a loss for the Drua. Can't compete with lucrative overseas contracts in Japan, Europe, and the USA, says DK. Yeah, I always see it as like the money overseas is always going to be there. And it's always going to be a great opportunity for these Fijian players to get a really good salary for a year. Like they'll always have Super Rugby to come back to, if that makes sense. But as soon as you start making those big money deals overseas, like that's going to change his life. It's going to change his family's life. And like it's always awesome for them. I just hope that he gets game time because I know that sometimes when the players go overseas, Vinay Habossi is a bit of an example. Is when he went overseas to Racing 92, they only played him for like 3 or 4 games. But he would have been paid well to go over and just play those few games. And even playing field between Tier 1 and Tier 2 teams, says DK there. You're talking like this competition, DK? Because, I mean, the Rebels are below the Fijian Drua. They have less wins. So would you say that they are considered as Tier 2 of this comp? Or are you saying like the URC-wise? Because I would agree that the Fijian Drua were too strong for the URC. Sorry, not the URC, the NRC, the Australian competition. Younger generations have hopes. Says Nate. Waisaki Naholo and Patrick Osborne, with Fijians. Certainly made the Highlanders a more exciting team, as well as helping them win the title. Says Jason. Yeah, it's one of those ones that as soon as you see like a Fijian in the starting lineup, you just get excited. Like Semi Radradra, Joshua Tuisova, he was the main reason a lot of people watched the top 14 because they wanted to see that man tearing it up on the wing for Toulon and just making an impact. Nice break off the back here for Matt Faisler. 5 meters out from the line now, the Reds. McWright goes round the side, scores the try, and the Reds now back into the contest. A little bit of an easier kick as well, you'd have to say, so they might take the lead by the 2. Love the Reds. Not sure they've played with enough consistency to make the finals football this year, says Prof. or Professor Quincy Adams Wagstaff. Wagstaff, that's a fancy last name, isn't it? But yeah, they've been a bit of a 50-50 team, to be honest. Like having 5 wins, losing 8 games. I actually thought when you see their lineup, you expect them to be higher than the Waratahs overall. But yeah, they just haven't quite been able to do so. Eyes on the keyboard, or eyes on my keyboard says try. I wonder what Fiji will do in the World Cup. I hope they do well. They make it through to the quarterfinals. There's going to be a lot of people excited, I can tell you that much. Because at the end of the day, they just have to beat Wales or Australia. And then but Georgia, Fiji's always close. I once got ripped out for saying that Fiji versus Georgia was going to be a close game, and then it was a draw. So couldn't get much closer than that. But it's a tricky one. They need to win, I'd say 2 out of their 5 games, maybe 3 out of the 5 is probably more likely, and then they'll be through. And it's just that question of whether it will be Wales, Georgia. I mean, Portugal are a great side as well. They can cause an upset, but I'd like to think Fiji would be too strong for them. Do you know when the Blues play next? So they have got their next game will actually be their quarterfinal fixture up against the Waratahs, and that will be next. I want to say next Saturday that they'll be playing, but it could be next Friday instead. One of those two, though, is when they are going to be playing their quarterfinal. And younger generation, especially talented ruggers, coached by Tier 1 teams via scholarship, who later represent them in the World Cup due to financial resources available for their families, says DK. It is a shame that a lot of great players do end up going overseas rather than playing for their nations, but then it's one of those scenarios that when they are offered that money, like, you can't blame them in some regards. I know that that sounds rough, but, if you're offered, like, a big money deal overseas and they're like, "We're gonna pay everything for your family, we're gonna do everything like that," like, they're gonna say yes. And it's a shame because if there was more money available in some of these nations, then you would end up with a lot more players staying, but because that's not the case, like, it does end up with them going over. Do you know where the Blues are playing? They are gonna be playing at Eden Park. So they've got a home field advantage for that game up against the Tars. 24 minutes through. Kick was successful from James O'Connor, so sitting 14 points to 12 at the moment in this contest. Can you upload on Kiwi Lads Gaming? We haven't really got too many plans as of yet, although the gaming's now the entertainment channel. And I think George has a video that he's planned that's going out in maybe like a week or two. Going to be a big push there. Advantage now goes the way of the Reds. Harry Wilson has the ball kicked out of his hands, bounces off the face of McWright. Right, they'll go back for the penalty. So far we have seen 4 try scorers. They have been Ryan Smith, Fraser McWright. For the draw, it was Ravatamunda, and then the other try scorer was Kalaveti Ravovo. For anyone who is keeping track. Why don't we all go like this? We will go like that as well. Haven't seen too much from Ironi Sel so far. And remember to like the video to help the lad, says Michael Lowe. Anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. If the Fijian Drua win this game, they will still have another game just around the corner in the quarterfinals of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. We will be covering that one 100%. Our nice drive forward from the Reds, going a little bit sideways with their rolling more. I think Hiareti Hatita has actually ended up joining from the Reds side, and he's almost working as one of the forwards for the Reds, perhaps trying to put in his resume for next season. Now they've already got Ravai in that forward pack. Hiareti Hatita, probably not a bad addition to the Red side. Harry Wilson, ankles taken out from underneath him by Lamani. Now back across Hunter by Sami and behind James O'Connor now. Moving to only about 25 metres out. McDermott has to go in and grab that ball from the breakdown. Big run from Penny Ravai, who I just did mention, now off to the right-hand side. Paisami runs it straight, nailed in the tackle by Masaki Donge, I should say. Now, back across. Oh, O'Connor's put the ball down cold, but that is going to be the advantage for the Reds. So they now have the option of going for that 3-pointer, or they could take on the corner. Right, they're going to take on the 3 points. That's why so many Kiwis They're going offshore for lucrative contracts too, likes of directors, coaches, trainers, and players to Japan, Europe, and USA. Band-aid sabbaticals won't stop them, says DK. And I think that's proven now more than ever in the world of rugby because let's say about maybe 5 years ago, even further 10 years ago when the money wasn't so big overseas, like players were occasionally going. I think Dan Carter was probably the first real Kiwi that everyone was like, oh, you can make money overseas when you play. But like it's got to the stage now how everyone's kind of realized with rugby, you can't play forever. And nowadays, I think it's even harder to try and have a longevity career just with the amount of contact, the speed of these players, the force generated. So everyone's realizing when they get offered that big money, you got to kind of take it. Like at the end of the day, international rugby, some players will play for their country because they absolutely like that's their dream. But once that dream's been accomplished, or once you realize that dream might be a little bit out of reach, the likes of someone like, I mean, Lachlan Boshier, a little bit of an example for New Zealand, great player, realized he wasn't really in All Blacks contention, had a chat with him. They were like, nah, you're probably about fifth or sixth ranked. And he went, okay, I'll go overseas. I'll make money in Japan. And he's done very well for himself over there. But because only certain players will get that opportunity to play international level, and because there is a reasonable amount of, I guess you could say, like camaraderie, or maybe not camaraderie is the right word, but a certain level of like, I can't think of the word, unfortunately. But when they're committed to one player, a little bit of whatever the word is, I'm going to have to get a crossword out after this. But because there's that level of commitment to the player that someone could play from when they're 19 to 35 and still be in the side, whether they're playing good or bad, a lot of young players go, okay, I don't really have the chance until they retire, so I might as well go and make some moolah. Kicked him behind by Jock Campbell. Now, it's out on the full. We'll go back to where it was kicked from. So currently the score sitting 17 points to 12 after that. 3 points. Come on, Drua. Keep fighting, says DK. I still can't think of the word, and it's going to annoy me. It's not like commitment, but it's like, when they're committed to the guy. Certain level of not respectability, not reliability either. This is going to really annoy me. I need like a thesaurus, you know? I don't even know if we've probably got a dictionary in the house somewhere. And I'm lucky to see NRL in the USA, Warriors versus Dolphins and TV here, says Robert. Yeah, of course, they're going to be playing. Just kicked off, isn't it, Robert? Do let us know how the Warriors go throughout that game. Possession currently 55% in favour of the Reds. Meters made, though, we've actually seen more from the Drua. Now, big push there from the Drua at scrum time. They'll win the penalty as well. Brilliant work from that front row. Hitit, Ikanaveri, and Duque. Doji. I can't remember how they pronounce that one. Loyal? Yeah. That's the word. It's such a simple word as well, but my brain just wouldn't tell me that word. Loyalty. So they've got loyalty to certain players so they don't get rid of them, even when they're playing bad. Thank you, Professor Quincy Adams Wagstaff. Not just ABs, but Black Ferns too. Most taking up lucrative contracts overseas, sabbaticals, AMOU with Japan won't stop everyone, says DK. Well, that's the thing. Money talks. You can say as much as you like, I want to play for my country, and that's all well and good. But when you get chucked millions of dollars at you from an overseas club that are like, we like you playing for your country and all, but come play for us. Then the players are like, well, living costs are going up. If I want to buy a donut, it's like $7 now. So I gotta make the moolah. That's probably not a good example because players sometimes probably wouldn't eat donuts. But you get the picture. Maybe a pie, even that's steak's getting expensive, they'll say. So they got to pay for that. Hi, Milk. Says eyes on my keyboard. Milk. I don't think I've ever had the nickname Milk, but I assume it's because I'm very pale. Now, I'm about 15 minutes out, like Matanonu says, Jason. Exactly. Like he's made some good money overseas. Oh, that was almost a tip tackle on Langi. Looks like he's going to stay down here. A little kick in behind from a Sefo Masi. McDermott drops it. Picked up there. Mira scores for the Drua. We're back to 17 all. And also, go Fiji, says no one try, says eyes on the keyboard. You can see the crowd absolutely loving that one, dancing, cheering, having a right ball of a time, other than that one guy who was going for the draw who sat there like this. He wasn't happy about it, but the draw try, says DK. Mira, going through. A little bit of a tip on Langi, which I think was what they might have been checking. But Osefo Masi kicked it in behind. Picture perfect little chip. And yes, let's go. The draw, says DK. And now a chance for Muntz to make the score 19-17 in favour of the Drua, getting closer to the half-time mark. Great little chip in behind. Tosa Drua says eyes on my keyboard. The ball up cleanly there. Yeah, big celebrations from the Drua supporters. My parents, they were actually recently in Fiji. My dad was playing in a golf tournament, and they said that like Fijian Drua merchandise, you can find it absolutely everywhere in Fiji. And even on, I showed an example yesterday for the Fijian Drua, or not so much for the Drua, but their notes, the $7 note that they have in Fiji. I have one here. They actually have the Olympic 7 side on their $7 note. It's sadly not going to focus. That kick from Muntz misses again. As you can see there, the whole Fijian 7 side on there. There's Semi Radradra up in that corner on the bend. And then on the other side, they've actually got the black, or the, I almost said the Black Fern 7s, but they've got the Fijiana women's 7 side on the back of the note as well. That's quite cool, I thought. Play very average in Super Rugby. Was once, he put the black jersey on, was unstoppable, says Jason Hamilton. For Ma'anonu, that is going to be a loose ball. Harry Wilson looking to get into position. He's a dangerous man in open space, but they decide not to go out to him. They instead have Jock Campbell hit the ball up. Tosa Drua Toso, 17 all, says DK. Now Ravai moving up to 25 out. McDermott goes back to Hunter Paisami. Loose ball. Big shot coming in on James O'Connor. Wright picks it up nicely. Out to Filippo Taugunu. Forced into touch by Frank Lamani. I think all the Reds are pointing at something. They want something checked here. Great work from Lamani to get around the bootlaces or get around the shins and just drive hard. What are they checking here in the breakdown? Maybe offside is what they're checking for? Maybe. Not too sure, though. Time is off. So they are checking something anyway, but 17 points to 17. 2 missed kicks so far from the Fijian Drua of Muntz. That's a little bit concerning. Normally, Kimi Valentini, very decent in that second half when it comes to the kicking department. Right. James O'Connor back on his feet now. Frank Lamani, he's put in some big tackles throughout this game. Penny Matawalu, I think, is the replacement option for them. And while we have got a stoppage, we might as well look through at the replacement for both of these sides. Tom Liner, he did actually start last week at number 10 for the Reds instead. There's James O'Connor this week. Matawalu, Valentini there. Naito Kani, very good player. Thanakai Vata from the 7s. He was probably in that picture that I just showed, which is kind of cool. And raining in super wet conditions, ground side handling and tactical kicking will be key, says DK. It's kicked down field. Nice take from Filippo Dalgunu. Wrestled down by his opposite number, or opposite on the field, Ronnie Sau. Now Zayn Ungor gets the ball up. Now McDermott be passing away to the left-hand side. James O'Connor drops the ball again. He's actually had quite a few fumbles throughout this competition so far. It is going to be a scrum feed now for the Fijian Drua, though. Fiji Drua still actually slight underdogs at the moment, which seems to be the trend of the match. Just checking it, they do come in as tiny underdogs, I will say, though. It's not a huge underdog margin. $2.25 compared to the 170 of the Reds. Hurricanes come in as underdogs for their game up against the Crusaders. So both home sides in that department coming in as underdogs, but that will just drive them that little bit further. FIJIAN Drua now with a scrum opportunity here. Frank Lamani puts the ball in. Big push there from the Reds. The ball comes out the side. It's available, and well done from Ironi Sau to notice that the ball had popped out the back and now managed to get his hands on it for the Drua. Meta already scoring himself one try in this contest. It's going to be the penalty advantage again to Ravai for being off his feet. Now down the wing, Ironi Sau somehow stays in the field of play. Ball is loose. They'll go back for another penalty for the FIJIAN Drua. Back around halfway now. Kicking distance probably a little bit too far. Oh, now just like that, the FIJIAN Drua are actually favourites. $1.90 compared to $1.97. So it's a complete pick'em game. And new floating emoji are cool. I think that is from Obi, maybe. Oh, Frank Lamani's going to take on this kick from about 48 meters out. Now, normally he does have decent distance. I'm surprised that they weren't having him kick earlier on rather than Caleb Muntz. I thought that might have been quite a good option for them, but shot is called. Lamani now. And changing and switching channels. Our Warriors 3, or watching 3 games same time, under 20 and the Warriors. Says Blues Nate. The good news about Sky Go is you can actually have it that you've got a multi-stream going. So what I might do during the second half is I might actually put it so that I've got the Warriors game and the under-20s all on my screen at once. FIJIAN Drua, though, to take the lead here. Frank Lamani. Quite a challenging kick for your first kick of the day, that is for sure. Normally has the distance. Has he got the accuracy? He's kept it nice and low here from Lamani, just away to the left-hand side. So the score will remain 17-17. If the Drua get the W with bonus points, qualify for the playoffs, meet the Chiefs, right, Hamish? Says DK. So at the moment, if the Chiefs win this game, they move up to 7th, which would currently have them facing off against the Crusaders. The only way that they drop down to play the Chiefs is if the Force beat the Chiefs. So that's the little muddle that we could have, just because of the extra point that the Force already have. So, yeah, the Drua, if they make it through this game, that's charged down. Nice work there from the FIJIAN Drua, but McDermott on the short side, close to the touchline there. Referee says play on. Paisami moves to now only about 20 meters out from his line. They've got 35 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like they want to try and close this one out for the first half inside of their 22. Although I think there's too much time left. Or is there? He's just looking up at the clock now. They are going to hit it up a couple more times. They cannot afford to make a mistake here. Siruru tackled there by Ikanaveri. Now the Reds just looking to close it out. Smith now hits it up. But yeah, either way, they'll be playing the Chiefs or the Crusaders if they were to win this game. Waiting for the siren. McDermott says he hears it. Going back across. They've still got 2 more plays or so, I think the referee has just told him. Now they're able to put it back into the pocket. They'll kick it into touch, and at halftime in this contest, 17 points to 17 between the two sides. Very entertaining first half of rugby. Drua had their moments. The Reds had theirs. 2 tries being scored along the way as well. Just mentioned the closest that the Reds and the Drua have ever been in their playing. It was halftime 17, all good half for the Drua, says DK. And it will give them confidence because at the end of the day, some people thought that maybe the Reds could get themselves a nice, good early start in this fixture. But the Fijian side, they hung in there, which is exactly what they need to do in this second half. And we know that they normally close out the last 20 minutes of a game pretty well. So we'll have to wait to see whether or not that will be the case for this contest as well. What we're quickly going to do, though, is we are going to have a quick wee look at what the score was the last time these two sides went head to head. I believe the Reds, it was in their favour. I know that much. Where can we see old match reports for Super Rugby? Fixtures and results. There we go. The archive, Super Rugby Pacific for the standings, the fixtures. I'm not sure what round they played. First game for the Fijian Drua, they actually lost to the Waratahs 40 points to 10. So, in some regards, you can see how far they've been able to come. They lost against the Brumbies 42 points to 3 in round number 2. They didn't play them in that round. They actually beat the Rebels 31-26 for that one. Reds versus Drua, 33 points to 28. And it was a home game for the Reds. So, yeah, could be a close one. Fiji Drua fans never disappoint, especially those in Fiji ground side wearing the Fijian Drua merchandise. Cheers, DK, and cheers, mate. Type match. There's Patrick Hughes in there as well. Yeah, certainly going to be a close one at the end of the game, unless, of course, the Reds do what they can sometimes do, which is run away with it late. The Drua also have that same ability. So I would say that this game is going to go down to the final 5 minutes, and whoever plays better in those 5 minutes probably will walk away with the victory and will get themselves the spot in the quarterfinal. Whoever loses this game might end up missing out. I should mention that the Reds, I've been doing the maths a little bit wrong once again, because if the Reds lose this game, they are still in the top 8, depending on their points differential, but they should be within 60 points of the Fijian Drua. So the Reds would drop down to 8th if the Fijian Drua win, and then the Force would then leapfrog the Reds if they won. So the Highlanders may not actually be in the top 8 if the Reds lose. They lose their spot, and the Reds will take that one over. So that is the information that I still am doing in my head, trying to work it out. Who do you think will win, says Akshar? I mean, for the Fijian Drua, that is a massive confidence booster, being 17 all at halftime, because the Reds are one of the tough Aussie sides that when they're playing well, quite hard to beat. So I would say that the Drua is still in with an extremely big shot of walking away victorious. Yeah, will still be just a bit of a wait and see scenario, I would say. But next 40 minutes going to be very entertaining. I should mention we have got another game just around the corner. It is going to be Crusaders versus the Hurricanes. And we'll be starting around that 7 p.m. mark. It's going to be a good game. In fact, what we might do, I believe it is going to be starting at 7:05 p.m. for that next live stream. For the Crusaders versus Hurricanes and Bulla Meteli. Hopefully I've said that correctly. I was at the Drua from Meteli and there as well. Second half just around the corner. A few stats from that first half we will get up. See exactly who has that momentum. But I would say, I mean, the fact that the Reds had to stall that last minute and kick that ball into touch, that probably benefits the Drua a little bit. They've had more meters carried, 116 compared to the 111 of the Reds. Defenders beaten's actually in favour of the away side. The Reds, they've beaten 8 defenders compared to the 6 of the Drua. Offloads 2 and 2. And of course, Akshar Drua, hopefully, let's go Fiji. A very nice beach right there. They are showing the blue clear water. Little islands. And there as well, what's for tea tonight, says Jason. I think tonight's tea is probably going to be shoestring fries for myself. Go and base it, but that's normally the only thing I can really cook in between live streams. Looks like the pitch is slippery, yeah. Or slippy. A lot of moisture falling over the last couple of days in this region. So it meant that someone actually said yesterday, if it was raining like it did yesterday or the day before, they may have had to call off the game due to flooding, but it's looking pretty nice out there. Other than, of course, the slipperiness. Looks like it's dried pretty well. Ravatamanda charging down that first kick of Filippo Dalgunu. That was actually the try in the 4th minute for the Drua. 4 penalties against both of these sides as well, I should mention. Lineouts 100% for the Reds. 1 lineout lost for the Drua. It's going to be an entertaining second half, I would say. A lot of tries just around the corner, and Drua need to use their defence tactical kicking, especially in their own half, put up pressure bombs too, play to the wet conditions in Suva, says DK. And yeah, we've really not seen either side utilise that kicking game. I would say that the Reds are probably a little bit hesitant to use it because 2 of their kicks have been charged down already, but the Drua, I think they just need to stay in the Reds half. That's going to be the big one for them. Get that territory game going. And then from there, try and capitalize because we have seen the discipline falling a little bit. Don't forget about that steak and cheese pie. I don't actually have one of those, sadly. It was just yesterday we ended up talking about them and I got all excited about steak and cheese pies. Oh no, I said that there was one in the freezer, didn't I? It's quite old though. I had a look. She's not looking good. So I kind of have a steak and cheese pie, but I don't. I wouldn't recommend eating it. So chips and chicken probably gonna be the combo for tonight. Gonna be good though, because we got a nice early morning start tomorrow. We're gonna be heading away a few hours up the road, going on holiday for one night. We're gonna be going up seeing one of the other Kiwi lads, Isaac, who some of you may know, some of you may not know him. He's a little bit of a secret Kiwi lad, I guess you could say. He's only been on a couple live streams. You would have heard like music's being played on the streams as well, the likes of this one. It is just about to play now. Playing magically at the stadium, but yeah, that is some of his music. So you would have heard that being played throughout some of the live streams. So we're going up to see him, doing a few activities. We're going to be vlogging the whole thing. You guys will get to see some sort of video in the future of us doing random Kiwi lads shenanigans. Yeah, should be a lot of fun. Showing the meta try. One try today, 20 meters made, one defender beaten. Had a pretty decent day at the office, you would have to say, for the Fijian Drua number 7. Now, second half almost here. Territory 55% in favour of the Reds, position 56%, and into the Reds scoring. Says Ralulu there. And turn it up, boss, says Blues Nate. And there as well. Yeah, we'll have to get the tunes going in the car, won't we? And who you tipping to win the Super Rugby comp, Hamish, says DK. I'm picking a Kiwi side, which I know is pretty like a cheap answer because there's 4 Kiwi sides in the top 8, maybe even 5, depending on how the result of this game goes and how the force game goes. But I'm picking a Kiwi side. Imagine the scenes though if the Drua made it into the top 8, beat the Crusaders in their quarterfinals. They would then, I think, have to play the Chiefs, beat the Chiefs, play the Blues in the final and beat them as well. That would be a massive one for the Drua. That is only theoretical talking, though, I should mention. And under 20s, I really was hoping the Wallabies would be in a league going into the second half. Where are you based, says Jason? I am. Normally, people don't know where exactly I live when I tell them. So I'm 30 minutes or so south of Timaru, if you know where that is, or if a little bit more broad, I'm halfway in between Christchurch and Dunedin, or halfway in between the Crusaders and the Highlanders home games. Smack bang in the middle, about 2.5 hours each way. And Takai Mai, well, Taki Mai, I should say, for the Drua's win today, says Linus there. Right. Second half just around the corner now. I'm going to go into multi-view. We're going to get all fancy with it. We're going to put this one there. We're going to turn down the volume because it's very loud. Go to about that. We're going to go to 3 up on the screen. We're going to drag Sky Sport 1 there. We're going to drag Sky Sport 3 there. Is it halftime in the Warriors game as well? Or am I on the wrong channel? What channel's the Warriors on? They're probably Sky Sport 4, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, they are. There we go. They're winning 6-0 against the Dolphins. New Zealand under 20s winning 19 points to 6 over the Aussies. We got the multi-view going, and it's like we're at the cinema. Good fun. And also Bulapi, Atosa Drua Toso says DK. Yeah, as well. I think New Zealand, Australia must have kicked off at 4:30, if I'm not wrong. I think they were kicking off 5 minutes earlier than the Super Rugby game. I'm in Dunedin. So know where you mean, says Jason. Geez, it's been a while since I've headed down south to Dunedin. I think the last time I went to Dunedin was, geez, 2016, 17 maybe? Somewhere around there, I think. And we went to Kmart. Kmart's a bloody great shop, isn't it? But then also, I think we went to a football game. I think we watched the All Whites play or something like that. Something along those lines. An early morning, Hamish here in Cape Town. Well, what a score. It's a draw. I overslept. Says Roof. No one cares about league, says Trent. Oh, some people do. We covered a game of league the other day, State of Origin. Might end up doing a couple Warriors game in the future as well, perhaps. Kentucky Draw Tucky says, Yona, it's a level pegging game. It was more penalties. So at the moment, Reds 5 penalties given away, the draw is 4. Nice Hamish, you're a Southern Kiwi, South Island represent, and between the Staters and the Landers, says DK. They don't even have a Kmart in Dunedin anymore, do they, Jason? I think they got rid of the Kmart down south. But we're going to Christchurch this weekend for the holiday, and they have a Kmart up there. So that's going to be exciting, looking at all the items that are weird but also affordable. Yeah, we've got a few plans. We've got one of these little GoPro. We're going to be filming a lot of stuff on there because some stuff that we are doing up there, we aren't able to just hold a camera in our hand. Instead, it's a little bit more hands-on, I guess you could call it. Well, Diona, is DK there. Second half just around the corner. They're just getting a few more ads in, just in case we want to buy a flammable gas tank. They've got their Reds win by 15 points. There's Lal Filio. Okay, so you're feeling a little bit of a advantage in the second half for the Reds in that case. And I mean, it's possible. At the end of the day, these two sides, they're pretty evenly matched. The draw come in as slight underdogs at the moment. Second half seems relatively unlikely some of these players to be able to get themselves a try. It just seems like, there's just I'm looking through at who's in the lineups as well. And also, no new one opening around Christmas apparently. Yeah, I heard that. I also heard that New Zealand's getting like here, which is pretty much just straight away going to be head to head with the old bloody Kmart. It's going to be an interesting one. But who doesn't love a random shop that has affordable stuff? Well, Hamish, what have I missed? You missed a close half. 17 points to 17 at the moment, just about to get back underway for the second half. Red supporters in attendance. This game as well, and draw win by 5 points. There's Linus in there as well. Right, second half just about to get underway. I like the FIJIAN Drua kit for their water boy or their assistant coach, Glenn Jackson. I feel like the yellow of it looks quite cool. Maybe an away kit for the future. Really slippery conditions, says the assistant coach. Used to be a referee, Glenn Jackson. Many games in the past. Currently in the New Zealand game, it is 44 minutes down, 19 points to 6. That guy looked real familiar for the Kiwis. I swear he's a Sevens boy. I'm going to have a quick Google because he looked like he was straight out of the Sevens circuit. We'll have a quick look. Although I don't know if the under-20s game is actually on the app that I use. Oh, no, it is. Sky Sports, second half, New Zealand under-20s. I want to say that it was, what's his face? No, it might have been actually Peter Lakai. Caleb Tangitail's in there. He's under 20. Macca Springer, Godfrey, both them. Good players in there. Off the bench as well. I assume there's a couple Sevens boys or not. Not many. Got a good side. And draw win by 5 points. There's Linus, but now the draw have made their way back out onto the field. Second half just around the corner. That's a strange score, Hamish. 17-17. What's your prediction for the Crusaders game? You're always spot on, baby. I think I get predictions very wrong. So normally it's whoever I back loses. So I'm going to say the Hurricanes win because they're the underdog. So if they win, it's cool. But then if they don't, then it's like, you picked the underdog. So they might have lost anyway. But yeah, I think the Hurricanes will really push the Crusaders in this next game. The problem is it's not for anything. Like neither side can move on the table. It's just more, you just want to see a good game. And not both sides going into their shell, getting ready for the next one. Harvo or Eve to the Kiwi lads, 017 all. There's Spider-Mick and under 20 Staters and Kane's playing for New Zealand. There's Nate. Yeah, the fact that Peter Lakai is under 20 though, and he's already like showing that he's a very class player for the Canes. Like he's got a bright future in front of him, I should say. Combine like 4 words into one there. It's Deloti Takiri and Samu Groundside. Currently doing some rugby development programs across Fiji on behalf of Oz and Fiji governments. There's DK. And speaking of the Fijians, they have now got possession and about 45 metres out from their own line here. Now Lamani passes back to the left-hand side. Munts. Tite Teller goes for the grub remind, and that space is opening up. The ball sits up beautifully there for Ravovo, who now finds the offload up to Munts, who takes the tackle with Suliasi Vunivalu as well. Keep the ball on the side of the Drua. They are now 40 metres out from the Reds line. To the right-hand side, Tite Teller. The Mira now, Ravatamunda. Thought about the pass on the outside. Now does find it. Out now to Ronnie Sal, the sledgehammer, ball over the top to Frank Lamani. And he'll score the try for the Fijian Drua. That's a sensational start to the second half. Oh, he's in touch. He's in touch. Never mind. That will be no try, ladies and gentlemen. One of the ABs under 20 has a beard you'd be jealous of, says Nova. Most of them have facial hair I'll be jealous of. My beard, he's not looking great. I'll probably have to have a shave before we go to Christchurch. I don't know what to do with it, though, because it's just a mess, you know. The mustache grows all right, but if this would move to here and, you know, get going, it would be all right. I know it's a full bar, said no, one no TMO says DK, no, his foot was in touch. They did say in the end. With a Fijian Drua now. They are only sitting 10 metres out from the line. Let's run forward from the replacement. Now back across to the right. So that is going to be Wanga, who's made his way on the field for Rotui Solia. Like Naviri. Seems like it's very structured at the moment from the Drua. They're not really risking too much. Now they've got the advantage, so they might try and chuck in a couple little random moves here every once in a while. Lamani now going off to the left-hand side. Gets it off to Roni Sa, who's put the ball down. In fact, it was, or Sifu Masi, and they'll go back for the penalty. Now, they could take the 3 and take the lead here, the Drua. They've got a big decision to make. Tosa Drua Toso, says Samuela. And also, let's go, the Drua. Fire up, boys, says Nate. Right, what are they deciding here? 3 points down. Well, sorry, 3 points available, and they will take it on. Looks like Lamani has taken over kicking responsibilities from Caleb Muntz. So it was for the high tackle from Soliasi Vunivalu. Just going through the hands of Osifa Masi. Which is a shame because he has some very good tries throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season so far. Faisler taking some deep breaths here. Draw with the chance to take the lead. 20 points to 17, and it goes over. And instead, here she goes, Draw, bring it home, boys, says Luke. And every extra point will be crucial here in this match because it has been very close. Now getting that 3 lead. Lamani's kicking's looking a lot better than Muntz was, though. And Tosa Draw, come on, Draw, you can do it. There's the Linus there, and Tosa Draw. And penalty is good. 3, Draw nails the penalty kick. 20-17 Draw lead, says DK. Now Jock Campbell to kick this one off. He actually, the first kickoff of the day, it went straight out on the full. This one not going to be the same result, though. Nicely taken by Vilive. Mira breaks through one tackle. Siru Uru in the end. Has to take him down. Now Lamani puts up the box kick. Going to get that slippery ball to go through the hands, and it does. James O'Connor, I think that was actually dropping that ball. He's wearing now the number 27. Ball now for the drawer. Muntz goes with the skip past the Ravatamunda. All on the outside here. Here they go, the draw. It's Osefo Masi. Got 2 men in support. Goes on the outside to Ravovo. Found the offload up to Ravatamunda, who just keeps himself in the field of play. The Fijian Drua, the second half, they've come out with a fire lit underneath them. I'm going to start this one early. That will be the penalty there. A little bit cynical. Oh, referee sits down on Harry Wilson's face. That was interesting. Oh, he's taking a bit of a knock there, Paul Williams. You can see him limping. Getting right into the action. The Fijian Drua, boys, just checking on him, making sure he's all right. Might have been in the shins, or kind of the lower leg that he got hit there. Paul Williams. Give them Drua, says Ralulu, or Ralulu, I should say. Right, the penalty goes the way of the Drua. I'll be kicking this one for the corner this time rather than taking on the 3. I want to get rewarded with either the 5 or the 7 here. Still walking with Olympia Williams. Hopefully he's going to be all right. And that is Paul Williams, the referee, I should mention. Harry Wilson ended up getting taken down by one of the Fijian Drua boys. And yeah, Paul Williams just tried not to sit on him, but ended up sitting on him and sits down on his face. Says Nazi Williams, yeah, if Harry Wilson ends up with pink eye, we know where he got it from. The referee. Good scenario, isn't it? Fire up, boys, says Nate. And come on, Tosa Drua, 20-17, says DK. All looks like it is out, and now it's going to be another advantage penalty there. Double blow of the whistle. This is danger. It's going to be a yellow card now for the Reds. And it looks like it's going to be Fraser McWright. No clear release. He goes to the bin now for 10 minutes, and the Drua is just going to keep on going here. Try and keep this momentum flowing and make the most of the man advantage for the next 10 minutes. Says Robert. Boy, that Nate. They've scored. Oh, they've gone for the scrum. Yeah, the draw rather than. That's interesting that they wouldn't go for the line out again after it looked relatively successful. And also, morning Amish, hope that your trip to Christchurch went well. Enjoy the weekend, mate. Says Josh Pike. So yeah, we leave tomorrow morning, which is why we have only got 2 live streams tonight rather than 4. Because ideally, we would have liked to do the Chiefs versus Western Force. We've covered every other Chiefs game so far of the Super Rugby Pacific season. Yeah, that game would be ending at about 1:50 a.m. and we are leaving here bright and early, probably at around 7 or so. So, yeah, it would have been a bit rough having to wake up after about 4 hours of sleep. To be fair, we've done it many times on live streams. Now, Frank Lamani leaving that ball off the back. It is going to be the big man, Dedi Alangi. Basic one boss says, Nate, and my Sky Sport just cut out on the Warriors game. That's not ideal. I've still got it here on my other screen. They said I'm 33 minutes through, still 6-0. Loves our Tosa Drua. And there says Lart. Now the Drua only 2 meters out from the line. Lamani counter ruck. Going back for yet again another penalty against the Reds. Those numbers are getting high. And come on, Sky Sports. Maybe connect to the Sky for free. Says Nate. Right. The Drua now have another decision. Do they go for the 3 and get 6 ahead, or do they continue to try and persevere with this attack, try and get themselves that 7-pointer again? They've still got the man advantage for another 8.5 minutes. 5 penalties against the Reds in the last little while. Looks like they do want the scrum again, or no, they're taking the quick tap, Fijian Drua style. Going to be Nasila now. Will be taking on this tap. They're about 10 meters out from the line. Should mention the Dolphins just scored, Nazi, in that game up against the Warriors. Maybe you were the lucky charm for the Warriors when you were watching. Now only 2 meters out from the line, the Fijian Drua. Using those big forwards, bringing that physicality. Around this side again. Getting closer was Nasila now breaking. Oh, he's close to the line here. They're just dragged down short. Looks like for Leve. Mira for his second try. He's looking pretty close to over. He's held up though. The Reds managed to survive. Boulevard now says Adili, welcome in, mate. And looking at including the Waratahs and a large multi. Do you think they win? Surely, says Jack. They should be able to, but with the odds, like they're not paying that much, are they? So it's a risky one. Are they going to buy next week? So your commentary just as good though, Hamish. There's Nazi Wiggins and Go Buller. There's Nazi in there. Also, we have got the Vota boys, or Bind Vota boys. There's Tups, also Drua. They're working hard here, the Drua, but just missing out on getting over the try line there. Valive Mira, he was eyeing up his second try of the day. Still have that man advantage. We'll keep on going back to. Still going to have another good attack here against 14 men. Nicely taken by Frank Lamani. Now, Meri Deri Alangi builds up steam, breaks through phaseless tackle, but's wrestled down by Zain Ungor. Once again, going forward here. The Fijian Drua. Lamani goes across to Nasila. Lamani uses Muntz. Goes to Kalaviti Ravovo. He's tackled high by Hunter Paisami. You'd have to say it's round the neck there. Got to be an advantage to the Fijian Drua. But it doesn't look like it's going to be, but they get a penalty for playing the 9 anyway. And now they've got another chance to kick this one for the corner. It would be a shame for the 10 minutes to go by without adding any extra points on the board here for the Fijian Drua, but they're persistent. They are not giving up as of yet, playing the player without the ball. call there from Paul Williams. So the Reds go, says Tavita. Oh, no time off. Straight back into the action, they've said. Crowd booing that one, by the sounds of it. They did not like what they saw. That is going to be now kicked into touch. 10 penalties against the Reds now compared to the 4 of the Fijian Drua. Gotta say the discipline just hasn't quite been there. The second half position has completely shifted. In the first half, it was actually more in favour of the Reds. Now the Drua having about 60% of the position throughout this game. Go Drua to go. There's Puasa there. And I was like, come on, the Drua Tosso, says Linus. 5 metres out from the line. Naveri joining back onto the back of the rolling maul. Really going anywhere as of yet, so they've been told to use it once. This one's swirling around awkwardly. Tavita Ikanaveri, though, breaking off the back. Now only 2 metres out from the line. Iriti had hit him back. It's Masaki. Oh, he's over the line. I don't think he even knew he was over the line there. They were about to recycle that ball. Iriti did not get that one. It was Masaki at number 3. And Drua are in tries 25 points to 17. Kick to come. Let's go, the Drua. There's DK. And their hopes and dreams are making it through to the quarterfinals. Still well and truly on the table. It looks like he's hurt himself badly here. Masaki. Do. I always say it wrong. It's not Masaki Do, is it? It's Masaki Doe? Doe? Doge? How would you say his last name, ladies and gentlemen? It is spelled Doge. Now, I always say it wrong. He's the one player who I always mispronounce. Donge, I think I've heard them say. Is it Donge? Masaki Donge? That makes more sense. And keep them under pressure, boys. Hang tight and keep on building. The safety valve's got to give way, says Luke. Yeah, this kick would be a massive one to get over. Frank Lamani lining it up. He has got it down the middle, and that will now make the score 27 points to 17 in favour of the Fijian Drua. Donge scores the first try of the second half. Very nicely done, but the yellow card of Fraser McWright seems like it could be costly here for the Reds. Definitely if the Fijian Drua can get this ball back some stage soon. Just ends up rolling forward over the line. High from the Reds down inside of the 22. Valeve Mira once again. They have picked them out. Like the Mani will be putting up the box kick, kicking in and over 27 to 17. Frank nails it. There's DK. Now big run from Ikanaveri. Up the kick high again. Moving down to halfway, lining this one up. Great take from James O'Connor, who seems to, every time we see him, gain some sort of new piece of equipment. First it was the new kit. Now he's got a headband on as well. Man's going to be fully in disguise very soon. Harry Wilson takes it on, drops the ball though. And it's a knock-on advantage. The Fijian Drua wanted to continue playing. They will go back for the scrum. Hamish Shafid is late by a few minutes. Check with Sky Sports New Zealand. Says DK there. I know that because I'm watching on multi-view. It probably has got it a little bit further behind. Possibly. Although I think that's just Sky Sport here in New Zealand, unfortunately. It is just that little bit further behind compared to anywhere else, if that makes sense. Like normally with multi-view or with it in general, it sits like, well, I'm at 53 minutes at the moment. At Aussie, we have got there, it's 27 to 17 now, 55 minutes. See, for me, I'm paused at 53, 47, 27 to 17. So, yeah, there's about a minute delay or so for the action, but just make sure not to put it in the chat too quickly, or else you do spoil the action for the other people. 106 tackles made now for the Reds. When you get the chance, can you tell me Waratahs are resting players or at full strength, please, says Jack. The Waratahs up against Moana Pacifica. Normally, if they've got Hooper in their side, they're not resting players, really. No, it's still relatively strong. Like, I wouldn't call it a bad side for them. They've got a couple players playing slightly different positions. Lysa Nawakwanita playing fullback rather than out on the wing, but I think he's been doing that a little bit recently anyway. So, yeah, relatively strong side for them. Gore taken off the field now for Agassi. Scrum feed now again for the Drua. Xander also off the field for the Reds. That is for Ravai. Sorry, Xander on the field, I should say, for Ravai. Minutes remaining of that yellow card as well. Go, I've adjusted the volume again. Daddy says, Jimmy, not today either, Jimmy, unfortunately. The, what's it called? Paternity test. They came back and said that I'm not the father of yourself, Jimmy Long Schlong. Is that a picture of a horse that you've got? I'm worried that the horse has got a long schlong, so I won't put it up on the screen just in case. And Drua need to play tight defensive tactics, especially with the 10-point lead. There's DK, and it was a little grubber attempted there from the FIJIAN Drua. Now the knock-on comes from the Reds. Though, actually, it looks like it is going to be a Reds line out here. Player has stayed down. Osifo Masi, not looking too flashy. Here go the Reds go. There's DeVito. I'm sure you'll find him one day, Jimmy. He's out there somewhere. Yeah, Seven Mussy, awkward landing for him. The tackle from Filippo Dalgun and Brad Fawn last season with the Reds. I might end up with Status next year. Hamish says DK. I mean, the spot is almost available, isn't it? With Robinson in the ABs and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure the Reds are over, says Spider-Meg. I don't know. I feel like there's still a side that could come back from this. Currently, the odds have them as $6.50 underdogs. But I think they're a long way from done in this match. Just because, like, we've seen the Reds come back from pretty big deficits before. Quick succession tries. They are playing currently with 14 men on the field. We have still got another stoppage, ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for this game to get back underway. I believe that is due to the injuries, but a lot of FIJIAN Drua merchandise being worn here in the crowd. A little bit of, I believe that's Freddie Mercury playing at the moment. Still plenty of time for the Reds to win. There's Nob Mum. Still plenty of time left. Oh, they're just talking about a couple of the ex-Fijian players in attendance. And my Drua, says Grimsby. There as well. Right, scrum feed in favour now of the FIJIAN Drua. They have had a majority of scrum feeds throughout the second half in their credit. 90 seconds remaining of that yellow card. Can they make the most of it and get themselves maybe another try on the board? Now going off to the left-hand side, Lamani. Let's run forward. Lamani again goes to Muntz. Cross to Ravatamunda. Has the option on the outside. Does decide to use Calaveti Ravovo. Broke through about 2 or 3 tackles in a row till Harry Wilson was able to take him down. Even Aaron Manger too. Might end up with the status next season. Leave Moana Pacifica singing ship, unfortunately, says DK. I think they just need more time and a little bit more guidance, Moana Pacifica, and then they should be a lot stronger. Like, this season, they had a lot of close games. Like I said, they just didn't quite get the better of those final moments. And another advantage now for the FIJIAN Drua. Big wide pass thrown by Frank Lamani. Ronnie Sal inside ball to Ikanaveri. Dalgunu trying to get over the ball, not able to get it. Go Drua, go, says Apelli. A big run forward from Samutawake. Oh, that was a knock on the ground from Lamani. The ref says play on. Mira. Now across to Ravatamunda. Grub it in behind it. Hard in the tackle by Wilson. Stayed down like a starfish he is. I think he's all right. I think he was just waiting to see if they would give the penalty in their favour. And Team Drua, says Wasa. Right, the penalty goes the way of the FIJIAN Drua, now 40 metres out from the line. And I believe now McWright will be making his way back out onto the park. Playing the halfback penalty. We also see Osifo Masi has stayed down again. I think he had some sort of ankle injury when he did get tackled by Dalgunu about 4 minutes ago. It has remained there just that little bit longer. Oh, they're going to have a shot at the post here, the FIJIAN Drua. So that would give them the 13-point lead if it is successful. Looks like Osifo Masi, his night is going to be over. to make that change now. Is that for Kimu Valentini? No, instead Naito Kane makes his way on. And also we have got there 55 PCT. There's Lillian. That's 55. PCT stands for something to do with the points scored, doesn't it? If I'm not wrong. Oh, no arm tackle. Actually go on. And now they switch. They decide to go for the corner now because they are a little bit closer. Wonder what our future teams look like. Under RBTSN says Spider-Man and Tosa Drua Tosa says Thomas going for the Fijians. Couple of months now. Kick it towards the touchline, Linus. Tosa, another 3 points, please. Although they have gone for the corner now since it was that little bit closer. Playing the halfback was the initial advantage. And there was a no arms tackle somewhere along the way. They didn't show it there, though. Ekanaveri now with the line out throw. Goes in nice and straight. Nicely taken by Nasila Silla. Now the rolling maul. They decide to get it out of there early. Cross to Valive Mira. Now sitting about 15 metres out for the line. Lamani. The big forwards doing their job here. Get him to go forward so that they can fire it out the back line very soon. Nasila Silla, another good carry. Lamani goes to the right-hand side. Ronnie Sal, foot in touch. He gets over the line there celebrating, but his foot was in touch. I'm not falling for that one again. He's celebrating. No, now he slams the ball down. Foot was in touch. The crowd will boo, but I believe he was out actually twice there. And TMO ref foul plays. Reds foul plays aren't getting caught. High and late tackles come on. The row says DK. Ronnie Sal almost gets the try, denied straight away. Unfortunately, did spot there. Foot in touch, and then second time the foot in touch as well. So it did take away the chance of the try early. Oh, right. Ikanaveri's taken the quick tap, and I think the Fijian Drua have now just scored. If the Drua just done a little sneaky play, I think they had the penalty advantage. Or did the Reds take that one quickly and get it wrong? Cattle Dog, says Jason there. And Celestium so close, power and elusiveness. That is the try to Taveta Ikanaveri. We haven't actually been able to see this one yet. The Reds took the line out throw. It went long. Taveta Ikanaveri picks it up. That is a try for the Drua every day of the week. And now they have got themselves a very prominent lead of 15 points with a kick to come. A massive mistake from the Reds. They tried to rush it, and it went very badly. And 32 points to 17, says DK. And Blues won against the Landers, meaning a home quarter final for the Blues. Hammy says, Spider-Man, it certainly is. Although because they didn't try and win that game with a bonus point, it now means that they won't have a home semi-final, depending on who they play. And let's go the Drua, says Blues, Nate, because if the Crusaders lose to the Hurricanes, the Blues would have been above them if they had got that bonus point. Right. Frank Lamani now lining up the kick again. And it's good. So they will make the score 34 points to 17. The game is getting more and more in favor of the Drua, and the chances of them going through to the quarterfinals is becoming more and more of a reality. This would be their 6th win, which would actually mean they have more wins than the Reds throughout this season. And also go Drua, go, says Poasa. 20 minutes remaining. And it goes up high, not taken cleanly by the Drua. Sits up now for Ryan Smith. Found the offload on the outside to Lawson Creighton. Another offload coming there for the Reds. They're trying to keep this one played at a fast tempo. Reds are doing their best to lose tonight, says Professor Wincy Adams. Wagstaff, I should say. And also 34 to 17. Frank's kicking is better. It certainly is. And I think that's an option for them in the quarterfinal rather than Muntz. Don't think Muntz is the option for the kicking. He's decent in the back line, but just not off the kicking tee. Short ball to Harry Wilson. Looked for the offload. It will be the knock-on, though, from Angus Blythe, who was not expecting the pass. And the Drua now get themselves the scrum again. Vanaka Frank. There's Linus to the Landers knocked out. The Reds move down to 8, unless the Reds can come back. Exactly right. So the Reds, they could still be going through to the quarterfinals. And the chances are they still will, unless the Western Force beat the Chiefs. That is the only way that they would end up missing out. Oh, that's harsh that it was a knock-on. It actually hit him in the chest there. Didn't quite get the hand to it. Tosa Drua, Tosa says Ralulu there. But the Drua now, fantastic lead at the moment. I was worried about this game, Hammy, but this might be 3 games down and feel more comfy for the next 3 for my multi, says the Snooze. The Drua coming in as slight underdogs at the start of this game. They're certainly not coming in as underdogs now. They are sitting $13 favourites or $13 underdogs for the Reds now. Come on, Drua, 61 minutes defence now, tactical kicking and play tight defence. Tosso, Drua, Tosso, says Lorizio, and Jesse has said the same. The problem with the Drua now, though, is if what happened last week up against Moana Pacifica happens here, I don't think the Reds are the type of side to miss a late penalty or a late kick. So they have to make sure they keep this lead and they keep it as a big lead. They've got the benefit of 2 converted tries and something at the moment. Another converted try or even another try, I think, would win them this game because the Reds are a hard side to count out this late. It's a great kick downfield from the Fijian Drua right down into the half of the Reds. Dalgunu looking frustrated. The Drua fans looking fired up. Dosa Drua says, Mike Kelly there. And Dawes afternoon says Nate, I'm watching the TV, but listen to your commentary or listening for the commentating. Says, Akoseta, so hugely appreciated, mate. Currently, I was about to tell you the time for me, but the time is currently paused. But it's 62:08. Thank you, lad. Says Litiana, no worries at all. We are going to be back. This feels good to say, ladies and gents. We're going to be back for the FIJIAN Drua quarterfinal match because at the moment it's looking very likely that they will be through to go from missing out last year to at the moment looking like they're going to be making their way through now. Massive for the Drua. I'm only listening to the commentary. We'll watch the game highlights on YouTube. There's Linus there. Stolen by the FIJIAN Drua at line-out time. They've just been sensational in the second half. I don't think they've put many feet wrong at all. Now, big run from here. Reti Hatit moves up to the 22 now for the Fijian Drua. Looks like they've actually put Pini Matawalu on the field, but Lamani will be still out there, just changing positions, going into 10, I believe, for the months. Maybe moving to 12. They've got quite a few of their players out there on the park. They might just be playing with 2 9s. And Sledgehammer leaves the field sub. There's DK there, and thank you, lad. Says Jesse. And Tossa Drua Tossa. There's Mike Kelly. Ball available again for the Drua. A little knock on the ground, though, from them. And the Reds now have got themselves a scrum. The Drua won't be minding this too much, though, because it does still use up a little bit more extra time on the clock. Tossa Drua Tossa. There's the Mothi in there. Right. The Reds, they're making another change. Number 22, Tom Liner, making his way out there. That's probably for James O'Connor. Well, it's looking like those Fijians have just outclassed the Reds, decided to accelerate big time. Stairs Roof, absolutely. They have played a second half that was much needed compared to this game was 17-17 at halftime. And now they have got a 17-point lead. They're doing very well. Vanaka Hamish says Tips. Yeah. Now, Tate McDermott about to feed the ball in here for the Reds. They need 3 converted tries or thereabouts to get back into the contest. Now, nice wide ball from Lawson Crichton. That's called as forward. Dalgunu can't quite believe it. It looked all right from this angle. Just drifted forward. I'm sure on the replay it will look different and keep it together, boys. And thanks, commentator. Thumbs up, says Linus. Yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more action coming. Oh. Tell you what, that's one that could have gone either way. What a fairy tale season for the Drua. Well deserved too. What an incredible inspiration to all Pacifica communities, says DK. Yeah, the fact that from last year, when they were sitting, I believe they finished 11th or 10th, come back now, have multiple wins, make your way through to the quarterfinals is absolutely massive. Take penalties or drop goals, extend their lead. Drua, and Drua is playing with heart and passion. They certainly are. Playing with skill as well. Really managing the second half well. It's going to be a scrum reset now. Come on, boys. Hold the fort right there. Whatever happened to Stephen Larkham? It's a good question. Where's he at the moment, Larkham? I'm sure someone will know where he's ended up. Richie Aziata now on the field. That is for Dane Zander. Sorry, Matt Faisler to get taken off. Now 15 minutes remaining. The Reds need to score more than a point a minute to win the contest from here. I think there's a chant going around the crowd. Tosso Drua Tosso, I believe. Could be slightly wrong with that, but I do hear the draw in there. Now, big run from Pene Matawalu. Found the offload again for the draw. They move up to the 22 metres out. Muntz now receives an offload. Now 15 metres out. Playing halfback Matawalu. And an advantage as well for the drawer. This is close, getting extremely close. Wanga, he tried to reach out. He scores the try. And the draw, okay. They might have to check this one for a knock-on. Dalgunu saying it might have been. But that might just be another try for the drawer. They are running away with this contest. They aren't giving up either. They just keep going. Hopefully, World Rugby can invest more funds into Pacific Islands, especially grassroots programs in Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga. Says DK, and take your time, Drew, no rush. They are superb athletic sportsmen on that field. Powerful stuff, says Roof. Yeah, brilliant work from, first of all, Matawalu to get the offload away to Kemi Valentino, who then found Muntz, and then the quick work from Matawalu to get to that ruck, find his pass away to Wanga. And scored the try. Yes, draw of players. Here we come. Try, game over for the Reds. I think so. Don't think there's much coming back from this position for the Reds now. They are down by 22 points with the kick to come. Oh. Or is it? Are they checking this one? Okay, they are going to check this to see whether or not there was maybe double movement or a knock-on here. Remember Drew Mitchell and Clyde a Rathbone? Aussie Rugby. Says Reuben. Yes, says Coops there and Vanaka. Turanga. Toso, bring on the Chiefs or whoever, says DK. So, yeah, more than likely they'll be facing the Crusaders, a team that hasn't beat them this year. That's a little bit of excitement. Or they'll be playing the Chiefs if the Western Force are victorious in their game. They just want to check this again. Matawalu, the Ikanaveri. I think that was backwards, so that's fine. Potential obstruction here. And that might have been a knock-on the ground, actually. There might have been a little bit of a juggle. Oh, come on, rest benefit of the doubt. There's Blues, Nate. Okay, it's going to be no try. There's obstruction. So it's ruled out, unfortunately, for Wanga. He thought he had it. A little bit of obstruction there. Crowd cannot quite believe it. Man's on the big screen yelling out, come on. You wanted that try, but they're not too far away. It is going to be the penalty in favour of the Reds, though. So just looking at the obstruction. I think it's Tavita Ikanaveri who's had the obstruction. There wasn't a huge amount, but because he was in front, I believe that is why it's ruled. And really, Timo now never used it before. And the Reds are playing foul. Says DK, and Obaga says Spider-Meg, and Vanaka Drua Toso says Melly, but it will be now kicked into touch. Only 12 minutes remaining still. There is quite the difference on the scoreboard. 17 points to be exact. 6 tries from the drawer. Oh, 6 tries to the drawer. So what does that mean for them? That means that they'll receive the extra point. So they will finish on 26 points. That's not too bad. A nice little boost at the end if they are able to maintain this. Throw now for Richie Asiata. Gone in nicely. Play on, says the ref. Now marching forward with this rolling ball. I think that is Thana Kaivata trying to get his hands on that ball. Kalani Thomas off to Harry Wilson. Poor Reds red card. A bit of how's your auntie play there. At 68 come on the draw defense. I remember Clyde or Rathbone. He said his worst opponent to Mark Rupini played for the Blues. Oh, nice run there. Little kick him behind. Ravatamunda chasing after that one. Lawson Crichton ends up with the ball for the Reds inside of their 22 now. Game's being played at such a fast tempo. It is hard to commentate how quickly they are moving around the park. We're going from one field into the other. Tosa says DK now. Kalani Thomas looking to put up that box kick. Almost partially charged. That's gone out on the full, but he was allowed to. It wasn't taken back, they say. A good one, Nate. He had South African roots, old Clyde. There's the roof there. And Kalani Thomas not too happy at the moment. The Reds know that they still currently have a spot in the top 8. But whether or not the Chiefs win their game will depend on whether or not they do go forward. Defense says DK, and Tosa says Leona, and Vanaka Drua says Seva there, and God, it's good. Vanaka Drua, Vanaka Fiji, says Tuss. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel as well, because we are going to be back next week for the game for the Fijian Drua in their quarterfinal. That is not straight, but it is going to be play on now for the Reds. A ball available again. Suka says tips down. What's our Penny doing now? Says Roof. Oh, left that one. Ravatamanda. The ball almost doesn't bounce into touch. Does now go out 25 metres out from the Fijian Drua line, who are just waiting for the full-time whistle in 10 minutes' time to then confirm their spot in the quarterfinals. It's going to be a massive one for them. Already confirmed in the quarterfinal matchups. It is going to be the Crusaders, or they are confirmed. The Chiefs are confirmed. The Blues, they will be taking on the Tars, the Waratahs, that is. The Brumbies taking on the Hurricanes. You look handsome, says Okasita. Thank you very much. I hope you are who you are in your profile picture and not some random fellow. Come on the draw. Yeah, thank you very much for the compliment. Now, sitting 30 metres out from the line. Matawalu rolls it back to Caleb Muntz. Puts it downfield. Just about into touch. Kept infield now by Suliasi Vunivalu. Nice spin there to get out of one. Almost got out of three in a row. Vanaka boys, Tosa Drua, Toso keeps sailing strong. Says Thomas and Tosa Drua, Toso. Says Sitavini. Now kicked him behind. Well covered by Ravatamanda. Is that a 50-22? No. It's going to be a line-out throw for the Fijian Drua. So it seems like the Reds are now playing a lot more territory here. Trying to keep them deep inside of that 22 to then hope for the mistake. You have a solid Brumby player. Says Blues now. Come on the draw. Says Tiki down. Hold on, draw. Almost there. And let's go the draw. Says Yali. 9 minutes remaining. Every line out, every scrum uses up a little bit more time. Ginevedi now. The line out throw. Some deep breaths here for the Fijians. Just trying to work out what the tactic is. And every chance that they get to use up a little bit more time, they will. At the end of the day, it's strategic. Paul Williams is confused. Okay, they're checking to see if there's a substitution coming on. Timothy has a great game so far. Drua and Highlanders season over, says PSG. Does look that way, unfortunately, for the Highlanders and Aaron Smith. Their season could be over. And also, we getting at least one more try, boys? I think so. To be honest, I think both of these sides will probably score once more. I hope the Drua score the final try of the match, though, just to add the icing on the cake. Vanaka boys, says Samuela. Give it together, boys, says Tops. And they're in 8 minutes. Come on, the Drua, says DK. And there as well. I think I might have had a slight lucky charm for the Fijian Drua in this contest. I won't tell you guys until we've got 1 minute remaining, but I've done something slightly differently to what I've done in a couple of the past Fijian Drua games. Although, to be fair, the Fijian Drua, they've been in some good opposition without this as well. So, it's a sneaky little extra thing. Ikanaveri going off a real great game from him. Done very well. It's hard to clap on stream because you want to slap your hands together real hard. Make a nice crisp like pop. But because there's a microphone there, you don't want to. So you kind of got to slap the hand rather than clap, like just like that. You're just slapping the wrist for your applause rather than a big old one of those. It was a good clap. Now, Fraser McWright ends up with the ball again here. Fijian Drua on defense. Probably a majority of this last 8 minutes because the Reds will be throwing absolutely everything into it. There is an advantage now. Suliasi Vunivalu close to the touchline. Offloads the ball. It does go for the knock-on, so they'll go back for the original penalty. And the Reds cannot mess around here. If they want any chance of getting close, they need to keep on scoring points. Be put into touch. Now, the bonus point doesn't really favour them that much. In this scenario of being within 7, they need to win from here. And Vanaka Ikanaveri. There's Linus. Yeah, he's had a sensational game, scoring a try earlier on. Was able to read the Reds line out pretty well also. Ball's thrown in. Nicely taken by Angus Blythe. And the penalty goes the way of the Fijian Drua for obstruction. Massive one for them. This will use up a bit more time while players head to Japan more than Europe. Emmy money. I think it's just the style in Japan suits a lot more Southern Hemisphere players a little bit better. If that makes sense. Like Japan, it's that fast-paced running rugby, whereas in France, you've got a little bit more of that slower methodical territory game, which a lot of players just don't enjoy playing. Do you put coconut milk in your coffee instead of cow's milk? Says Jason. No, but there is something. I mentioned that my parents went to Fiji not too long ago, though. That might have something to do with it, maybe. I just had to send them to Fiji every Fijian Drua game. But no, they weren't at this game. They didn't get a chance to go to Moana Pacifica's contest. They were on the other side of the island. So Drua will be against which team in the quarterfinal match? At the moment, they will be playing the Crusaders. But if the Force end up beating the Chiefs, then it will be the Chiefs versus Fijian Drua. So either way, they're playing either the Crusaders or the Chiefs. One of the two top sides. So it's going to be difficult for them, but they've certainly got potential to pull off upsets. In 7 minutes, Drua's playoffs is there. And hashtag Dozo Drua says tips there. So remember, welcome. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, says Nate. Yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe as well. Hold on, guys. Less than 7 minutes left, says Linus. Now the Reds back in position. Uru moves up to the 40-meter line. Liner now going in behind. Nice pass now. The Suliasi Vunivalu give the Kiwi lads 100 likes, says Nate. Go, Drua, you got this, says Benina. Nice run from Harry Wilson. Look for the offload. It's stolen by Joe Tamani, who's on a breakaway. I don't think the Reds will be able to catch him. The big man, number 6, scores the try. And the Drua strike again. I have 2 multis, Hemi. Only difference is that one is the Canes winning. Who thought about it? Made the other one for the Satyrs winning, and the try coming. Says Trevor, what a try it is as well from Joe Tamani, the big man. Flying forward. 47 likes to go. Let's go. The Drua, says Nate. So, yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like. So, the Kiwi lads. Oh, so, to the Kiwi lads, great commentary. Says Lee, thank you very much, mate. Tamani, the 5th try of the season for that man. He's been on fire. Starting 6, I would say, for the next matchup. Or the quarterfinals. Like they've said, last game for Tamani on Fijian soil as well. It's going to be a special moment for him, running away, scoring an open play off the steal as well in the breakdown. And Drua versus the Chiefs or Drua versus the Satyrs. Yep, one of those two. And I can mention Crusaders, they haven't beaten the Fijian Drua this year. One try, Mara for commentator, and it's the icing of the cake and lights out. And good night, boys. You are bringing it home, says Luke. It's all over now. Time to celebrate the Drua and Fiji playoffs. Here we come, says DK. Yeah, for the Fijian Drua to make the improvements that they have this year, to go from being a side that people are like, we should be able to beat them, to now being real contenders. It's absolutely awesome to see. Great kick from Kimu Valentini off the bench as well. Kalulu or Ralulu, as their Drua versus Super Rugby. And I was mentioning their road to the final, if they were to make it through, they more than likely would have to play the Crusaders, the Chiefs, and the Blues to be able to go through to the next stage of the comp, which is absolutely massive for them. He hit the 2. He certainly did. Great kicking from Kimu Valentini. And Taki, well done, Drua, says DK there as well. Currently 4 minutes remaining on the clock. And the Drua don't look like they're done yet. They've decided, why not try and get another? It's going to be put in behind. Advantage in favour of the Reds. And what a fairy tale, says DK. And Reds are without the plan. Lots of errors and naughty penalties given away. Shame, says Rev. Yeah, they've given away about 15 penalties in this game. Pretty sure the scoreline is like to losing the breath. There's an embarrassing scoreline for the Aussies, says Konakeo, and it's just more of the question of will they still make it through to the quarterfinals. The live standings has the Drua in 7th. So they are confirmed for the quarterfinals to face either the Crusaders or the Chiefs, depending on whether or not the Force win up against the Chiefs. If the Force win, the Drua play the Chiefs. If the Force lose, the Drua play the Crusaders. Let's go. Fijian Drua going to win this Super Rugby, says Esther. And there's an awesome, says Tups. They say, or as they say in Afrikaans, Muiskutamani, Fiji. That's going to be put in behind 5 meters out from their own line. Now the Reds. Filippo Dalgunu tries the step, wrestled down by Nasila Sela, who's been very busy throughout this game as well. Kalani Thomas now back into the pocket for the Reds. Tom Liner takes his time, tries to get that extra distance on it. What an inspiration to all Pacifica communities. Drua did it. Hopefully, Moana Pacifica can learn from the Drua, says DK. That's the thing. I feel like Moana Pacifica, they're just going to take that little bit more time. I feel like they'll get there in the end, but for now, because the Drua have been playing together as the NRC competition, it made it a little bit easier for them to then gel. But there's still plenty of potential around the corner for not just the draw, but also Moana Pacifica as well. I wouldn't bother preparing for the quarterfinals. I went through in that manner on the receiving end on absolute routing. Says kind of, yeah, because that's the thing. The Reds will have to play the Chiefs if they do go through. And those games are normally close. I mean, at the end of the day, that would kind of be cool because that would mean that the Reds, the only side that have beaten the Chiefs this season, then have them in the quarterfinals. That's kind of big. And they beat them on home soil. Well, kind of home soil is in Taranaki, not quite the Waikato FMG Stadium. 3 minutes remaining. Matawalu slings it wide out to Joe Tamani. Goes through his legs. Vanaka Kiwi Hamish, thanks for the commentary. There's tough, no worries. Fiji government might declare a public holiday. Like when they win the Sevens Olympics or the Sevens Rugby World Cup, they have a public holiday, says DK. Yeah, it's a massive win for the Drua over the Reds. And not just because of like just the win. It's a massive scoreline. They've done brilliantly. All Reds play the Chiefs, not good, says Lose Nate. That's going to be, tell you what, that's kind of a cool matchup. Because if the Reds play the Chiefs, that's got story behind it. If the Crusaders play the Drua, that's got story behind it because the Drua bet the Crusaders. The Blues playing the Tars, those are always pretty decent games. Hurricanes, Brumbies, those are always 50-50. So that would be actually a perfect quarterfinals, in my opinion. And right time for avocado toast with honey tea. Here's Ruth there waiting for Richie Monga. I'm 100% sure Fijian Drua will win this game, says Linus. It's a pretty good call liner. In fact, Crichton pushed into touch. I know the Fiji or the Reds beating the Chiefs, but can they really pull that off again? Not likely. Not after the way they've fallen off, says Connor. You never know. That's the beauty of playoff rugby. We haven't seen the Reds tested in a quarterfinal yet. Is that the full-time siren or did someone just bring an air horn? I think someone just brought an air horn to the game. So I feel like now's about the time that I should reveal what I felt was a little bit of a lucky charm. I mentioned that my parents did go to Fiji, and in that, they brought me back a gift. Now, the gift, luckily, it's not too green, or else then it would be hard to see. But the gift is a Fijian Drua kit from Fiji, ladies and gentlemen. Tell you what, the arms are bloody tight, though, I've learned. I don't think I'm a medium in the sizing, but Fijian Drua polo. Very sneaky. Wore it underneath. Don't think it gave them this one. I think they did that all by themselves. They did very well in this contest, but it just looks quite cool with the Drua logo. I've actually got some merchandise for them after watching them grow throughout the last 2 years. And Chiefs still favourites, Ross Takiaho and George Dyer. And then nice age, says DK. That looks rad. Well played, Emmy, says the snooze of Anaka, says Linus. A rugby in Fiji looks great, says Jesse. And Mothi Kethi, says Linus and Ushku, man. Says Nazi Williams. Well, nice gift. Congratulations, says Walter. But yeah, they came back and they did show me the Fijian Drua polo. And I was like, going to wear that on the stream. Got to. And now I feel like I've got a decision to make. Do I wear it for the quarterfinals next week? Or will that jinx them? We've got to make that decision, don't we? And I was agreeing with stuff with Hamish. They're in a ship, baby. You rock it. Says a Roof and Secret Drua fan. I don't think it's much of a secret. I think, like, I've been a fan of them for quite a while since they joined the comp. Like, of course, I'm impartial, but it's been awesome seeing the way that they've been able to grow throughout the last little while. Better than a crappy magnet, says Jason. A nice t-shirt, says Felipe in there as well. And also, class move, Hamish. Wear it with pride. Toss a Drua Tosso and look neat, bro, says the Fijian guy in Vanaka boys. Yes, you wear it. And wear it, bro, says Nazi Williams. And not too bad, weather a bit cold. Rugby kept us warm at the moment. Yeah, I was going to wear it out on display for the whole stream, but it's actually quite chilly here. Thanks for live commentary. Well done. The Drua and the Reds and Drua colours suit you nicely, Hamish, says DK. Because that's the thing. My mum, when we got it home, she was a little bit worried about this stripe because that one. I'm trying to work out what finger's what. This stripe, because it is that kind of light green. But I mentioned how normally I'm about here anyway, so you can't really tell. And where it says Kips, and also wonderful gift, bro, says Litiana. And nice average, let's go the Drua. And would like to see George try to put that on, says Andy Scott. Tell you what, she's tight around the arms. Like, they don't really leave much room for anything around this part. But, like, across the shoulders are not too bad. I think it's a medium. But yeah, like, that was the first thing I noticed was in the arms. I was like, oh, squeezing. And he says, Kips, he looked good in the Drua shirt, and Grant's with the cold wet. And grey, and yes, says Azras. Okay. Sounds like I'm going to have to wear it for the next one. Even though The Crusaders, I live only about 3 hours from where they are. We'll wear it. Well done, commentator, says Linus. Thank you very much. Yes, you should wear, says Lariso. And thank you, mate. I'm going to enjoy my grog. Vanaka Drua says nay. In there as well. Yeah, nonetheless, what a performance from the Fijian Drua. Hamish showing off his massive gun, says Grant. Nah, there's no gun there. That's just pretty much an arm that looks a weird color because it's cold. And a huge celebration across Fiji. Grog and Bear give Kiwi Lads 48 likes for his Drua shirt, says Blues Nate. And WWW says Barbarian Rager there as well. But yeah, brilliant performance from the Fijian Drua. Joe Tamani, last game on home soil. Great work from him. Or unless maybe the Force win their game up against the Chiefs and then somehow we end up with the Drua versus the Chiefs in Fiji. I don't know if that can happen. And also, we've got the Hamish looks good in anything or nothing at all, says Roof. Jeez, trying to make me blush, Roof. Kerr will not be happy to hear that. He thinks he's got a shot. Also, big gun, says Nate. Truly deserved draw. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Fiji. Says Tips, yeah. Mary Langi, giving the captain's talk, saying he's proud of the boys. And now it's time to watch the highlights on YouTube and Grog. Good on you, commentator, Vanaka, says Maloney in there as well. But yeah, nonetheless, we have got the next live stream just around the corner. That is going to be the matchup taking place between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes. That should be a very good game as well. Be sure to tune in for that. It doesn't really change anything on the table, unfortunately. So it's more just a question of whether or not they win. I'm rocking the draw share, Hamish says, Luke. I do like the colours of it. Like, yes, the green makes me look like I'm see-through and a robot on the green screen. But when it's down there, I like the light blue, I have to say. And I feel like as a polo as well, you could do a lot of activities in this. You know, you could go golfing in it, have a bit of a swing and whatnot, or just do daily activities. You know? And well done, Fiji boys bouncing. Says a roof. Yeah, they did well. Very well in this game. And they've built good momentum heading into their next game now. And also, Eddie and the chat with the very happy looking faces for the draw who have made their way through to the quarterfinals. Now is the question, will it be the Crusaders or will it be the Chiefs that they end up playing? You look better with the Fiji Draw shirt, says King Boy. I'll take it. I realized at the start of the live stream, though, that this shirt or this jersey that I had on looked very similar to Reds colors. So it seems like I'm kind of going both ways in a way. But yeah, I definitely prefer the Draw shirt over the hoodie. And Hamish, nice coverage polo shirt move. Oh, it was just all class, says DK there as well. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be popping back in about 40 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less than that, about 35 minutes for the next live stream that is taking place between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes. One step at a time, Draw fan, says Mithy Alley. And Draw is just too strong, says King Boy in there as well. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the next one.